Morris on the top, a former Laker, won a championship with this team. Durant in the lane. Big time.
Are y'all related?
He has embraced this city, and they have embraced him. Harris, oh, and a block from Durant.
Durant looks at the clock. Caldwell Pope digs in. Durant, oh, a major split.
You know, I don't know if anybody has noticed, but right now we're witnessing greatness that's only been accomplished by one other player. And one other player I'm talking about is the GOAT, the greatest player of all time, and Michael Jordan, not debatable in my book. I know a lot of people talk about LeBron James. A lot of people talk about, a lot of players in which, or maybe not a lot, but they put other players in the category of the greatest of all time. And, that GOAT label gets passed around a lot in all sports, not just basketball, mainly basketball and football, I would say, but it gets passed around a lot. And to me, there's only one greatest player of all time that's been established, and it's been Michael Jordan. But as of right now, the greatness that I feel like we're witnessing that a lot of people might not understand is the greatness of Kevin Durant, KD, Durantula, whatever you want to call him, Slim Reaper, whatever nickname you decide to use. He has multiple nicknames, but he's also a lethal assassin. From the mid-range, he's unstoppable. From the three-point line, he's unstoppable. He's a 7-footer with a handle, and he can get wherever he wants on the court. He can just make things happen, and not a lot of players can say that they can do that, at the high level the way that he has. And, so far in this season, Kevin Durant, a lot of people, may look at him differently due to the fact that he's playing with Kyrie on the Brooklyn Nets, a team that a lot of people thought they would be in the NBA Finals a couple seasons ago when they had James Harden along with himself and Kyrie, and they didn't. And even after, people still thought they could make it, and they haven't done it so far. But regardless of that, looking at the first 13 games, looking at the first 13 games of the season, Kevin Durant is the only player besides Michael Jordan for the first 13 games of the season been averaging 25 or has scored 25 plus points each of the first 13 games of the season. He's the first player to do it since Michael Jordan. Now, let that sink in. There's been a lot of players in this league come and go. There's been a lot of players that's in the league back then that were great. There's a lot of players in the league now that are great. And on top of that, you're still looking at, the top players in the league like LeBron, players like that. You would think that maybe they would have, accomplished this feat maybe before, accomplished this, in their earlier career, or even Kevin Durant, as good as he is, you would have thought maybe he accomplished something like that, possibly in his early stages of his career, because he was more amped up, more energy, more everything. And he was really a scoring machine, even more, I felt like, several years ago than what he is now. I mean, he's still a scoring machine, but I just felt like he was really in his prime, about 4 or 5 years ago. And I feel like nobody could stop Kevin Durant really at that time. It's really nobody could stop him now, but even more so it was tougher then. So I would have thought maybe he did this maybe earlier in his career rather than doing it later in his career now. And it just shows how great of a player he is, and it just shows his greatness. His greatness can't be, overlooked. And, anytime somebody does something like this, have stats, or play to this type of level, and it's being compared to somebody like, Michael Jordan, it has to get knowledge. It has to get acknowledged, and it has to get noticed. And I feel like a lot of people right now are overlooking Kevin Durant's greatness of what he's accomplishing so far and what he's doing, even though the Nets are not playing the best. And I understand winning cures everything, but at the same time, we do have to acknowledge how great a player is playing and what they're accomplishing that no other player around them that's able to do at this time, or that has done in history. And nobody has done this in history in the first 13 consecutive games of a season played. You've scored 25 plus points each of those games. Nobody has done that in history. So that tells you how sacred it is. It tells you how rare it is. And it tells you that it's not something that a lot of people or a lot of players are able to do consistently, because it takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot to just, consistently be consistent like that on a nightly basis, knowing that your team needs it and knowing that, you have to be the main guy on the team to do this because nobody else will or can. Or you could say maybe hasn't had the opportunity to do it. So, I mean, it's very, a great thing that's going on for Kevin Durant right now. Of course, the Nets would rather be winning a lot more. They just dropped a game here against the Lakers, which was a hiccup, I would say, because I thought they should have beat the Lakers. They found a way to beat the Clippers, which is a better team than the Lakers. But I guess the Lakers, they can't lose every single game, right? They got to find a way to win one or some or whatever the case may be. So I definitely get that. But regardless of, Kevin Durant's been playing great. He's been playing awesome. And this year specifically, so far, he's averaging 30 points, 36 and 5 for the season so far, which has been amazing. He's got to be in the MVP conversation. I don't really see how maybe you could leave him off there. Maybe due to the fact that they're not the Nets don't have a winning record right now. But at the same time, he's lifting a lot. He's keeping them afloat, at least until or if, Kyrie returns to the team. However that situation may work out. Kevin Durant's been a monster so far, and I don't think nobody should, look at him any less than what he is. And right now he's playing really good. Honestly, the man is playing like 37, 38 minutes a game, averaging so far this season, averaging 30 points, and he's shooting above 50% shooting. I think he's shooting up to 50% from the field, giving you 6.5 assists a game. He's giving you 5.3 assists a game with 6.6 assists, 6.6 rebounds per game, is what he's giving you. And that's amazing. It really is. Even with or without Kyrie's services, he's still playing at a high level. And he's putting this team in position to win, most nights where they play, And as I said, since they got Jacques Vaughn, they've been playing a little bit better, as well. But overall, KD is a monster, and he's definitely showing everybody why he's one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. And I think that's something we have to respect and something we have to honor and acknowledge, even through all the distractions with Kyrie and all the stuff that goes on with him, which I personally believe that I think he's almost aboard or done with Kyrie. So the simple fact that Kyrie just has so much going on with him, it's hard to really focus on basketball only. And I feel like Kevin Durant, based upon listening to his interviews throughout the years, he's mainly, likes to hoop, and that's it. He don't really like to get into all the politics and all that stuff of basketball. He just wants to play basketball and keep quiet and go out there and be the best player he can be. And that's all that's required of a player that enters the league or anybody that steps on the floor. Be the best you can be. Leave all the other stuff for the media and let them talk. You let your game do the talking, and then you speak afterwards, about how well you did or what you need to improve on as a player to move forward in your career. That's really where most players should really set their sights at and keep it there for the most part. That'll keep them grounded in regards to the media and things like that. But Kyrie chooses another avenue, and to me, it really holds the Nets back. But if Kevin Durant keeps playing like this, we have to understand one thing: he possibly might be able to carry this team, of course, to a playoffs, which I know he can do that. But he might be able to possibly carry this team a little bit further with the fact that Joe Harris is back. Seth is playing good; he's back. And on top of that, Kevin Durant's on top of his game as always and still doing it at a high level, even though he's been in the league for years. And, Michael Jordan would definitely be, or definitely is proud of one of his, proteges or one of the young players in the league that's mimicking, something of greatness, of closeness to what he's done. And Kevin Durant is doing that. Kevin Durant is actually, doing that so far in this season. Now, I personally have picked the Nets versus the Clippers in the finals this year. That was my preseason pick, and I'm going to stick with it just because, the Clippers can get healthy. Kawhi is, definitely an awesome player as well. Nobody can overlook his greatness also. And the fact that Kevin Durant can definitely hold it down for this team and get them in position to be a better team than what they, are right now. I feel like if he keeps going and keeps, pushing himself, elevating, I don't know how much longer he can average these type of points, put up up these type of numbers throughout the season, but if he can do it for most of the season and keep this team afloat, and they can go on some winning streaks, which I believe they can, especially with them liking Jock Vaughn a little bit more apparently than Steve Nash, or maybe not liking him more, but liking Jock Vaughn's style of coaching a little bit more than Steve Nash, then maybe they can go a lot further than expected, or at least than what maybe they even expect as a team. So shout out to KD for him playing the way he's playing at a high level. Hopefully he continues. Hopefully the Nets have a better season than what they're having right now. But as of right now, it's not the worst because new faces in the coaching position. Players seem a little bit more loose, a little bit more happy based upon what you're hearing come out of that camp and stuff like that so far right now. But as the season goes on, we'll see where they are and see how they progress, and we'll see if Kevin Durant's greatness of what he's doing can continue, and maybe continue enough to allow them to push them a little bit further in the playoffs than what they made last year. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. Please like, subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell if you wouldn't mind. And hey, till next time.